Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's just get right into it. So, welcome to season two of the Recovery Mindset podcast with me and Matt from Flashpoint Performance down in Greenville.
Yeah, we're excited. We've got a lot in store for you guys. We've got a couple guests that are going to be on this. We're going to be touching on topics that both Kyle and I both care a lot about, NIL. We're going to touch on women in sports. We might even have a former gymnast come on. So it should be a good year. But let's kick this off with a year in review for Kylan. Man, I can't believe it's been a year, but obviously about a year ago, you were competing at Clemson. What does that feel like not competing this year?
It's so surreal. It's like it's kind of weird because it's my whole life has been like practice, like train, compete, right? So it's been really interesting to see like my character development over the last year. But it's been really surreal and it's been so fun to watch it on TV and not actually have to go through all of that stress. Um, but yeah, I miss it. It's like I can't believe gymnastics season is almost ending, and I have to wait another whatever 8 months to watch the next season on the TV. So it's been pretty surreal, but it's been really beautiful to kind of watch it from afar.
Now, how would you, I guess, if you had to give one word to that, how would that, like, what would that word be to describe what that felt like? I guess surreal might be it.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably surreal. Yeah, I'd probably stick with that word.
Perfect. Would you, with your transition, was it kind of what you expected? I mean, I know I've heard different takes from you on your transition about a year ago, but is it what you expect or is it different?
Yeah, I think it's definitely what I expected. I think I got really easy and I knew what kind of lifestyle I was going into, and I knew like my job, whereas some people kind of go out and they're starting a brand new job that they've never done an internship in or they don't know their boss or their coworkers. And I got really lucky coming into a company that I love and coming into, coming to work with my friends every day. And it's been a really fun transition. And it's also been something that has been kind of like way easier than I thought, which is really nice.
I mean, that's got to be very reassuring. I bet not
Yeah,
everyone has that feeling when they transition.
exactly.
So when you look back on when you were there, do you almost feel like you always had to be on when you were competing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't
on.
even know if it was like just when I was competing. I think it was in general. They always tell you, okay, you're supporting or you're representing Clemson University wherever you go. Airplanes, restaurants in town, restaurants out of town, when you're at home, you're always representing the university. So it's almost like you're constantly on like a better way, like I don't know how to put this, like constantly on, not watch, but like on your best behavior, I guess. Like you're always very like proper, kind, which I mean I think I am as a person anyways, but you have that second like, oh, I'm an athlete at the university, like Clemson University, and I need to represent them well. So
Yeah, I remember you described it as protect the Paul last year at one point.
thank you. Yeah, I forgot about that. See, been too long.
Hey, we've got them all videoed. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
almost see it differently now that you're like removed from it? Like, is it almost like you have a completely different perspective versus in the moment? I'm sure that on feeling was a lot of
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is I pay way more attention to like the athletes and the coaches, like interactions. Either like I pay attention to the coaches while I'm like watching one of their routines. Like I've been to a few DU meets and like if you watch the coach when they're on the beam, she's doing the skills with them almost. It's like she's doing the whole beam routine with them and it's really cool to see some like that engagement. So I think I've been more focused on like how the coaches and the athletes interact, just coming out of it because it's such a big thing in athletics is how well you get along with your coach. And I think that's something that I just found super interesting after I graduated. I was like, I went to that one DU meet and I noticed the coach in the background. And I was like, I should pay more attention to like how the coaches, whatever, and what during the routines. And it was really, it's cool to see it from a back end than
Yeah.
being,
Hey, who knows? You might even turn into a coach yourself hearing all this.
yeah.
You did do a stint with that though, didn't you?
With what?
You were helping with gymnastics.
Oh yeah, as a coach, it was not my favorite thing. not for me.
That's fair.
I don't have the
That's
patience for that. Yeah,
better to find out now than later, right?
exactly. Yeah.
I think you're in the right arena either way. What did you almost feel like you had like you could be your real self when you're an athlete? I mean, I feel like social media and everything's got to change completely how many eyes are on you versus when I was in college. It was just Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I was always like I'm Kylan the athlete, and I think still to this day, like I will introduce myself like if I'm doing an email or something to like say I'm like pitching something, I'll be like, "Hi, I'm Kylan, former Division 1 gymnast," you know. Um, and it's been hard to kind of like get out of that identity. So I don't know if I've fully been like, oh, I'm, because it was my life from when I was 4 years old. Like I've been a gymnast since four until up until a year ago, basically. And so it's been really weird to not be that anymore and to just be Kylan. Because even though like when I was a gymnast, I was just Kylan, it's still so weird to me that I'm like not Kylan the gymnast anymore. I'm just Kylan.
That makes
That's
sense.
just
Yeah, and
happening.
I'll be honest, I don't feel like that ever changes. I still think of myself as a high
Yeah.
level athlete, even though I'm far from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in a few years I'll be real far too.
No, do you almost now that you're not in that environment? I mean, do you almost what have you learned about yourself in that experience? Obviously, sounds like there's some like question of what the identity is, but what have you learned specifically in that?
I think I've learned that when you come out of like when you come out of any, like, I mean, it could be school, high stress environment, being a student athlete, when you come out of that, it's almost like you are like trying to figure out like what you like to do because you've been, so like worried about school, athletics, homework, whatever. And so you haven't really been able to find that like what do you like to do or who are you or like what are your hobbies? Like I don't like to crochet, but some people like to crochet. That's not for me. So finding those kinds of hobbies and trying to kind of figure out that part of me, which I always had hobbies when I was an athlete and finding those like escapes, but now it's like different. Like I need something different to do. So it's been finding that. And then I think it's been really fun to see my character development as just like a person. I work with a lot of patients in like a healthcare facility. So like learning my bedside manner, that kind of stuff, that's been really interesting too. Because it's not something you
Oh
think
yeah, it
about.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason I enjoy burrowing out with people sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I don't feel like that really like I don't know if that changes either. Like I feel like it is one of those things where it's still a learning game throughout. Um, which Matt sounds like you're excelling at it a lot better than many people do, I feel like. Do you miss certain parts of it at all?
Oh yeah, I miss the like being with my team every day for 4 hours a day. I miss that. I miss kind of just being on that college campus and everything being so close. That's kind of silly, but everything being so close. Um, I miss really the most thing I miss is like just being with my friends all the time, like being able to go to one of my roommates' rooms and like talk to them. And I miss kind of that like just the closeness and the friendships that you make in college for sure.
Well, I imagine some of it will be with you. I mean, I think some of my closest friends are still guys that I played ball with, and I only had 1 year, so I imagine you'll have a much more years of it too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is there anything you don't miss?
Oh yeah, I don't miss
I gotta
being in the
imagine the workouts.
stress. Yeah, I don't miss the conditioning. I don't miss being in that stressful environment like just like in general being in college and being a student athlete, like it's just a constantly stressful environment. I don't miss being like constantly being like weary of what I'm doing and like where I'm at and whatever and I don't miss a lot of things about it. I really don't miss school.
Yeah, hey, and then you're gonna go right back to school.
I know, in like 2 months, I know. But at least it's online this time and I can like do it myself.
That's fair. I mean, I will say I still have PTSD from workouts at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I never did 5 in the morning, thank goodness. But yeah, it's that sprint conditioning. Yeah, don't miss me.
Um, so I guess what a lot of people don't really understand what it's like. I mean, there's a huge thing I think when it comes to athletes, where athletes identity. One of my friends and colleagues talks about this all the time, where athletes just they lose that identity themselves, and it's hard. But I guess for you, like, what do you feel like that transition? It sounds like yours was smoother because you knew people, but you keep talking about the character development. What was that like, that transition? I mean, was it nice? Was it easy? Were there bumps in the road throughout?
Yeah. Are you talking about just like transitioning out of college as a whole, like student athlete and everything?
Yeah, and having the identity of being an athlete. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
I
still
think
an
it was,
athlete technically.
yeah.
You're a snowboarder.
Oh gosh. Not really, but yeah, I think it was definitely some bumps in the road. Like the biggest thing for me, and I don't know if this is really, I mean, this kind of ties into the identity thing, but it was like figuring out when I wanted to go to the gym. Because like I always had to go to the gym, and even when I was like an athlete, I chose to go to the gym sometimes. But like when I first got out, and I think having surgery helped with this, but when I first got out, I wanted nothing to do with the gym. I just recently started working out consistently again because it was just like I don't have to, I don't want to, so I'm not going to. And it was kind of nice to give my body that break. And now I really want to be in the gym and I want to, work out and I have that motivation again. So I think I definitely need that break. And I think having surgery right after season really helped with that. But I think that was like the bigger things. It was weird because I was always like in the gym doing something and then I wasn't. And I just didn't want to go to the gym and work out. So that was a big part of my identity, like that I had to figure out as well. But I think another thing too was just like figuring out like time management was such a big thing as a student athlete, and now I have so much time. And again,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do with all of this time? And having this job obviously helped a lot with it, and being in a state that is so adventurous helps a lot. And getting a dog also helped a lot with that. But
That's the best thing you
that
can do.
was like, yeah, that was the bigger thing. I'm like, I cannot sit still on the weekends. I have to be
Yeah.
doing something. I can't sit on the couch. I've got to go. I've got to do something. I've got to take my dog for a walk. I've got to take him to the dog park. I've got to go shopping. I spend way too much money, but like, I've got to do something because I just can't sit still.
You have to spoil him.
Yeah, exactly. I have to. He's got like so many toys.
It's funny, I feel like I get asked all the time because I have my hands in way too many pots, and I feel like you do too. But I feel like being a athlete at a higher level forces us to be able to almost create that superpower unknowingly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
It almost forces us like, do we have to be constantly in like a stressed state? I feel like it's just what we're used to. Yeah.
it's like when I was in DC, I didn't know I was living paycheck to paycheck until I moved to South Carolina.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I bet.
What I guess what did the transition do you feel like taught you about yourself in this past year, specifically? I mean, I've obviously gotten to watch a little bit from a distance and clearly seen you grow in many ways, but I guess for you, what has it been like?
I think it's been really cool to kind of see my like self come out. I think when I in my last year of Clemson, I did this thing called Power, which is a women's empowerment thing. And my biggest thing with that was I wanted to actually be able to use my voice. And I never did that in college, I feel like fully. And I will probably always regret that. And so being able to like really come out, use my voice, just mature like a ton. I mean, I'm pretty mature anyways, I think, but just mature a ton, get into a workplace and like have a routine every day. But like I had a routine before, but it's like a way different routine.
Yeah.
And I've just, I feel like made a full 360 almost in kind of who I am. And with this job, it's been really nice because I've been able to, I've always loved helping people and that's what all I get to do. And I think that's been really big into my character development is it's just kind of changed the way I almost look at the world. And I know that this is like, that's kind of like off the beaten path of athletics, but it really has
It's
changed
important
me
though.
as a person and like became part of my character. And so it's been really fun to kind of see myself like just grow and become, an adult.
You're never truly an adult, I swear. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I think you do that until you die, but yeah.
Do you I guess when did that feel different, that like, man, I'm an adult, I am transitioned, I'm no longer a Clemson gymnast? I mean, I definitely would agree that you're mature beyond your years, but adding that probably, like, when was it
Yeah.
for you, that moment?
When I moved into my own apartment and I had to like furnish it and buy and
Which,
buy things for it. And then I had to start getting paychecks, and then I had to start like using those paychecks towards certain things.
oh yeah,
That is like that is probably where I got like the biggest like thing.
reality check right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, literally. Like it was the paychecks and like having a job and like all this stuff. Yeah.
You mean I have to pay bills? That's not
Yeah,
fun.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Now, I guess so. What's interesting with you is like you are went into a sports performance space. You're helping people. Now you're also going to get your master's. And you just obviously left from being an athlete. Well, what has that transition to that role been like? Because that's, I mean, for me, I'm still trying to figure some of that out.
Yeah. Yeah, this so it's been a lot of learning with the job. It's been a lot of like being open-minded and like thinking way outside the box. Especially with like our neuro clients, I got to think way outside the box to figure out like okay, this person is walking but it's not great, so like how do I fix that? That's been really hard and really challenging. Thank God I have really good like mentors and stuff, but that has been really hard. And then my master's, I think, will be. I normally I hate school. I don't like it. I don't know. I'm not a good learner. Like I normally hate school, but I'm very excited with this master's because I think it'd be so cool to actually learn about things that I'm like interested in. And like even with my
Yeah.
major, like I was somewhat interested in it. But like this I get to like perfectly curate. I don't have to take the filler like chemistry classes and all that stuff. And I can really choose like in this major has a lot of flexibility. So I can just choose the classes I want to take. Whatever sounds interesting, I can take, which is
Yeah, I
really
mean that is
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I mean, whenever I took classes that I hated, I did terribly in them. So
Exactly. And I feel like that was like my whole college career. So I never like really loved what I was doing. And what I do here is like I love what I'm doing, but you can't major in this really. So
that is fair. And I will say, I mean, healthcare has a way of humbling you very quick,
oh
even
yeah,
when you feel like
definitely.
you're good at it.
Yeah.
I guess so. How is your perspective on like just being like the fact that you now turn from athlete to coach? You talked about watching athletes before. Has that almost given you a leg up when even with like helping with your clients?
Oh yeah. I think with my athletes, I do all the strength and conditioning at a high school too. So I think that's been really cool because they I think it's easier when you're closer in age because they look at me and they're like, oh, like she just graduated like and she was an athlete, this is so cool. Like I might listen to her more than if it was like somebody older or whatever. And
It
so I
is
think
very true.
yeah, I think that gives me like a leg up in itself because so many people are like, oh, like you're super close to my age, like that's cool, we can like vibe, instead of being like 30-year age gap and they're like, you like my mom, like so it's a little different, which I think is really cool. And it's just been like I know when athletes like I should probably be a little harder on this, but like if an athlete comes to me and they're like, I'm dying, I'm gonna let them have a recovery day. Like I'm not gonna push them through a workout like I was, which sometimes I will, but if I can really tell that they just need a second to rest, like I'm gonna let them have that. And I think that's been really cool because I've been in their shoes and I have no like oh gosh, I gotta get home and I gotta do all this homework and then I gotta do this and then I gotta do this. And it's like so much stuff and it feels very overwhelming that there's like one thing I can do is that if they have that hour blocked off, they're coming to me to work out. We're gonna make the most of that workout, whether that's they need some stuff to feel good, they need some stuff to get pushed, and they need like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that makes all the difference, especially with like, I mean, even now for me, like when I'm relating to an athlete, it's so much easier to get something out of them just knowing that they knew I was an athlete once upon a time.
Yeah, exactly.
An older athlete or old head, but it is what it is. Um, Now I saw the post that you mentioned it briefly about your training. I mean, how much has your training changed? I mean, I know I hated working out right when I was done. I forced myself to, but there were certain days it was like, I do not want to do this.
Yeah.
Now that's
So
better, but it's not anymore.
yeah. I think when I was in college, I was doing like almost like powerlifting stuff, like which probably wasn't the best idea for me when I was an athlete, but it was like the trend when I was in college and I was like, this is really cool, I want to do this. And so I was doing a lot of like like leg days, like were like strictly quads and like hamstrings, and it was like a lot of leg extensions and squats and whatever. And now I train more like an athlete. which I think is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Um, so like I'll start my workouts, and luckily, the another trainer just writes them for us, and we just do them because it's really easy. Um, but it's like jumps and like bike sprints, and then it's like incline and med ball slams and wall slams, and then legs or single leg squats. And we have this thing that's like an air jumper. We jump, and then we have a shuttle, which is like another jumping thing. So it's a lot of jumping, sleds, stuff like that. Things I would never have done on my own because I don't want to do that. Like if anything, I'm doing a four exercise leg workout or a four exercise arm workout, and I'm done. And cardio is not a part of that. But it's been cool to do these workouts that Jake will write for us because it's more athletic. It's getting the cardio. It's getting a full body instead of me just focusing. And I think sometimes it's good to just focus on certain muscle groups, but it just depends on your goals. And right now, my goals are to get back to being more athletic. So
You are probably learning the lesson I learned years ago of don't tell your strength coach friend to just train you like an athlete. You
yeah.
might love it, but you might hate it too.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the bike sprints, the air bike is terrible.
Now, so get moving back to like what the year in review has been, stepping away from gymnastics, other than this podcast, obviously, what is one thing you're really proud of that has nothing to do with gymnastics?
Graduating.
Okay, that's a big one.
I genuinely like I look back on it and I'm like, how did I make it through college? I remember sitting in my seat for hours trying to study for something and it going never not even going into my brain. It doesn't even go into my brain and fall out. It just doesn't go into my brain. I genuinely don't when I look back at it, I'm like, I really don't know how I made it through college and graduated with pretty good GPA. Like
I mean,
that is
that's
probably the one thing I'm super proud of. That and also just moving to a new state with like few people I knew, but just kind of starting my life out here and starting and being able to find myself outside of athletics has been really exciting.
yeah. I mean, that's hard in its own right. I mean, kudos to you for that. What's been one big win in this new phase? Obviously, I'm sure the dog has something to do with that, but
I love my dog. Um, a big win has been probably like me being able to kind of fall into a like comfortability with my job, but also being able to like be comfortable with using my voice and be comfortable with saying certain things or you know not being like, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to say this to like somebody, but just being like, hey, like just being comfortable using my voice and falling into comfortability with my job, meaning like coaching big groups and being able to not be like I have always had a very loud voice and people know that, but not being afraid to use it. And basically owning my voice is where I'm going with this.
when did you notice that you were that confident in it? I mean, I've definitely, honestly, just talking with you, I've noticed that for sure. It's been cool to
um
watch.
Thank you. I think more recently with like the high school I'm doing, that's been really fun to come into my voice. And then more with like the big groups that I do here at work. But really also just like in general, like when you're going to college, you're leaving your friends and you're doing a bunch of other stuff. And so it's more of like being okay with like, separation too. Yeah.
That that's
If that
cool.
makes
Now, what
sense.
has been the hardest part of the past year? I assume the finance part.
Yeah, that's been a big one. But that's also because I have very little self control. So that's something I need to work on. But
Champagne.
yes, yeah, finances have been interesting. Um, Probably the hardest thing was leaving all my friends and having to adjust to life on the phone instead of adjusting to life, seeing them every day or going over to their house if I wanted to. That's been probably the most challenging part. And then seeing them, I love seeing them on the TV. So excited. I mean, they won the ACC championships. That was
That was
amazing.
amazing.
And I'm just so proud of them. And I just wish that I was there to like celebrate with them. So I guess kind of missing out on stuff. It's been harder.
I can see that. I guess was there a moment where you almost felt like lost or unsure without that portion of it?
Um, it was more of like I felt lost without like my community, and like that was harder. Was so, and I'm like in my 20s. I'm trying to make friends, but I'm not really trying that hard. But like I'm trying. I should be trying to make friends, but it's scary when you're older and you're in a new state and you're around new people, and like it's hard to put yourself out there. So I think that's probably going to be my next challenge in the next year. Is going to be that is putting myself out there more.
We'll be watching.
Thanks.
Oh, was there a moment that I guess trying to like get used to those changes just started to click then, where you were almost like, okay, I'm not there with my friends. I have to go ahead and like, or are you still learning? Do you feel like with that?
No, I think I learned the lesson pretty quickly. I mean, when they're not there, it's just a pretty quick lesson. Um, but yeah, it's just been cool to watch it from afar.
That's cool. What is something you've learned about yourself that you just didn't know in this past year?
Gosh, I'm a lot better with the cold than I thought I was going to be. And that's like weird, but like, and not really what we're talking about. But I am way better in the cold than I thought I was going to be, which has been really nice. Although
I mean, the
this
cold
winter
is
has been
nice.
like terrible. I think this winter has been like actually horrible. But I'm way better in the cold, and I am more open minded than I thought because I mean, I'm still learning a lot of snowboarding stuff, but I went into my first day of snowboarding like I'm gonna be a prodigy. I'm gonna be so good. I knew I wasn't going to be, but I thought I
Next
would.
Sean White.
I like look exactly, and I like was low key like, oh my god, I could totally be really good at this. And then I got on the snowboard. No, it
Nope.
humbled me very quickly. Yeah,
Hey, you just keep trying.
yeah, yeah,
Eventually, you'll get better.
yeah, yeah. Well, this winter's over, but next winter we'll figure it out.
So who is Kylan McWright without gymnastics?
I own my voice. I'm more compassionate. I sometimes need a little bit of a push, which I never probably thought I would. But sometimes I need some motivation and a push and discipline, which is okay. Um, and I think overall, I'm just so much happier. Like in general with life, I am just so much happier.
There's probably a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you feel like you've fully, I mean, I think that I know the answer, but do you feel like you've fully separated from being an athlete now that you are a year removed?
Maybe not fully separated. Like I will still always be like, I was a gymnast at Clemson. Like I'm totally always gonna say that. Um, but I think it's been really eye opening to. I always, 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 always wanted, like when I was a little girl, I was like, I just want to be a grown up and have a job. I just want to be a grown up. Like always, even in college, I was just like, I cannot wait to be out of it. And it wasn't because I think I just really hated school. I think that's why I was always just like, I don't, I don't want to do it. Um, but it's been really cool to actually finally, after 23 years of my life to be where and being an adult is really hard. So maybe I didn't want to get to it this quickly, but it has been really cool to kind of figure that out by myself. I've always liked to figure things out by myself, so I think that's been really, really fun.
That'll be cool, and I'm sure that's only going to keep getting better.
Yeah, hopefully.
Do you think athletes as a whole are kind of taught like they're prepared for this identity shift that goes? I mean, I think I told you this first time I met you. I still just live vicariously through my athletes, and that's
Yeah.
the way I still have not grown up. But I think I often wonder, I don't think athletes they know what they're walking into.
I don't think so either. I think Clemson does a great job of preparing you for the corporate world. Um, if you take advantage of their resources. But I just think in general, it's like even like just regular college kids that aren't student athletes, I don't think anybody's prepared for life coming out of college because it is so incredibly different. It's like you have so much time. You have this job that you're probably either trying to learn or know nothing about that you're just lucky enough to have gotten at that point. And like all these things, I don't think really anyone's prepared. So I think if I had like any advice for people, it would just be like take advantages of the resources while you're at your school, take advantage of practice interviews and all these things because coming out into the real world, especially into this job market right now, which I think is terrible. I don't know because I
Yeah.
have one, but I think it's terrible. And uh,
No, it
like
definitely is.
just take advantage of it, network, and know people is a big
Do,
thing.
do you think that's what you would really try to do differently? I mean, I feel like you were networking anyway, or at least that's what my
Yeah,
sense with you was. But
yeah, we networked, and again, Clemson has great resources for those student athletes. But like if you don't follow up, you can go to a networking event, meet somebody, and never talk to them again. Like then you can't really say you networked or you know that person because you never talk to them again. You got to follow up with it. You got to be persistent, and I think that's something that I would definitely change is be more involved in that stuff. Like I never used any of the resources at Clemson. I should have, but I was like, no, I'll be fine. Which I am fine, which is fine, but it's not great. Like if I ever wanted to, go to PT school or something, if I didn't know a
yeah,
PT or like things like that. So take advantage of it and network, network, network.
yeah. I mean, networking is the name of the game. Being from
Yeah,
DC, that's literally all I know how to do,
yeah,
unknowingly.
yeah.
I guess so. If you had to think of three lessons from this past year, what would be the big ones that you can think of that you learned?
Don't take anything for granted and take everything in because it'll be gone in a second. Um, Own your voice and be confident in yourself because it's going to take you through. Yourself is the only thing that's taking you through life. And so to use your voice so you're not, yeah, just own your voice. Third thing I would say is remember to take time for you and figure out what you like instead of just falling into a routine.
I think we are back at Life Talks with Kylan, episode one.
Yes. Yeah.
um,
But that's what I got.
I love it. Yeah, and I mean, this has been great. I think it's been awesome just being able to watch and be part of, get to be a part of watching the journey a little bit. And I can't wait to unpack the rest of these topics, these next few episodes.
I know. I'm excited too. Thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, no, we're gonna change the game with it.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who's still on for watching, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks, I believe.
Yes.
Perfect. All